In your lifetime, you will probably have to prepare for lots and lots of job interviews. Every interview is different because every job and every interviewer is different. That being said, there are a few things that rarely change when it comes to job interviews. What to say at the beginning of your interview. The beginning of your interview is the time to introduce yourself and explain what you know about the company. Here are 4 things to say at the beginning of your interview. 1. It's nice to meet you. Greeting your interviewer with a smile gives the first impression, one they are likely to remember after the interview. Showing the courtesy of introducing yourself with a handshake and a positive attitude establishes rapport and professionalism. 2. Thank you for meeting with me today. After introducing yourself, thanking your interviewer for the meeting shows respect for their time. While interviewing you is part of their job, showing this additional respect for their time can make you appear appreciative of the interview. 3. I've read the job description. Mentioning that you understand the job description shows your immediate interest in the position. You might explain what elements of the job description made you want to apply and interview for the position, which can show your attention to detail. 4. I've researched your company. While some job seekers read the job description to understand the qualifications and responsibilities, researching the company further shows your interest in the company's culture and history as well. Interviewers appreciate when applicants take the initiative in learning more about the company before the interview because it shows that you still have a desire to work for them after your initial research. Here are 10 things you should always say and mean in an interview. 5. You know the company really well. Show the interviewer you've done your research by talking about your knowledge of the company. Before the interview, view their website, social media, recent articles, and whatever else you can find. Know the scope of the company and current events related to it. Weave this knowledge throughout your responses, and the interviewer will see your true interest company. 6. You have the experience to do the job. Every interviewer is going to ask about your experience. Use this question as your opportunity to prove you have the ability to do the job. Talk about relevant things you've done and the results of your work. Explain that your success with a previous project will allow you to successfully do something else for this company. Prove your worth. 7. You work well with others. The ability to work in a team is one of the qualities employers want most. An interviewer wants to hear how you have worked in a team in the past and how your team succeeded. Explain what your role on the team was and how you contributed to the team's success. Companies want to create teams that can manage themselves and produce strong results. 8. I'm looking for. This is the next thing to say if you want to have a great interview and get the job. You want to be able to explain specific things you're looking for in your next position. Show them you understand their job, and how it fits into what you want. This will convince them that you'll enjoy the job, work hard, and stay a long time. These are things employers care a ton about. Most job seekers don't realize how important these things are, and it's something I go into detail in my job interview answers guide. Also, be prepared to explain why you left your previous job. They're very likely to ask. 9. I have a question. Asking questions is extremely important in any interview, from a first call with a recruiter to a final face-to-face interview. Why? This shows employers you care about what type of job you take, and you care about your career. And it shows you're being careful in your job search, which they love. Giving great answers will not save you if you don't ask any questions of your own, which is why the questions you bring are as important as anything else you say in an interview to get the job. So try to ask 2 to 3 questions to each person you speak to in an interview. Ask about the company, the group, and most importantly, the job itself. 10. You. Studies on persuasion have shown that you is one of the most powerful words you can use in any conversation. Why? It shows you're not just focused on yourself, but thinking about the other person's needs and what they want. In an interview, this will add to your credibility and make them trust you, and is one of the best ways to make sure you have a great interview and get the job. For example, they might ask, "How much experience do you have working with customers?" And your answer, using the word "you," might look like this. I've worked directly with customers for the past 2 years. I read the job description and it seems like you need someone to do this for your team as well, right? I could help you handle customer requests immediately in this role. See how you're answering their question by talking about your skills, but then turning it around and talking about their needs and focusing it on them. Most job seekers think the interview is all about them, their skills, experiences, qualifications, and how they answer the interviewer's questions. The most successful job seekers realize the interview is about the employer and their needs. So focus on their goals, concerns, and needs when you give your interview answers, and you'll get more job offers, and for better jobs. 11. What can I do to excel in this position? Asking your interviewer what you can do to excel in the position you applied for shows that you have the desire to succeed at their company. Besides meeting the minimum requirements for the position, your desire to excel further can help you stand out among the other applicants. 12. How is my performance measured in this position? Understanding what the company considers performance markers allows you to prepare for your potential job. Asking the interviewer about performance measurements also shows your desire to meet and exceed the goals of the company. 13. I led. Companies want to hire leaders. Even if you're not applying for a leadership job. Even if you're not managing anyone and never have. Why? Because they want someone who can grow in their organization, and someone who can lead projects and take initiative in their individual work. Leadership isn't only useful if you manage people directly. You can step up when your boss needs you to handle an emergency. Or you can just take initiative in your own work and accomplish as much as possible without outside help. That's a form of leadership too. So as you prepare for your interview, think about 1 or 2 examples of times you've led a project, a team, a task, anything. If you just graduated, pick a school project. But have something. This is why a lot of employers are going to ask, "Tell me about your leadership style," or other similar questions. It's something they care about a lot. 14. When will I hear feedback? This tip for what to say in an interview is often forgotten because it's something you should say at the very end of the conversation. However, it's extremely important. By asking when you can expect to hear feedback from the employer, you'll show interest in their position, and you'll also know when to follow up after the interview if you don't hear a response. That will save you a lot of anxiety. For example, if they say that you can expect to hear from them in 5 to 7 business days, you won't be anxiously waiting each day. You can mark your calendar to follow up on day 7, and focus on getting more job interviews until then. And it's always important to show interest in their job during an interview. So that's another factor that makes this a good thing to say in your interview to wrap up the conversation. It shows them that you're excited to hear about the next steps. If you follow the advice above, you will get hired faster and avoid having bad interviews. It's not about copying these exact phrases though. Try to understand why employers want to hear each phrase, or a similar phrase, and then customize it and make it your own.